Hello, 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 Dr. Glenna Rice.
Hello, Miss Thomas. How are
Uh,
you?
it's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new
Isn't it?
love, and I'm feeling good. It's different. It's a different time. And really working, creating, doing lots of business in a different way. And so, what is the new awarenesses that we have about business done different? And so, I'm really delighted and excited to do, this business done different class, but and to talk with you here
Hmm,
about what is the different way in this particular year that we are doing business and can do business.
great questions. What are the different ways? I mean, yeah, the world's changing. We're always changing. Everything's always changing, and that's part of business done different. As your business grows with and changes dynamically, it's never a fixed entity. It's something that you're willing to change and work with and talk to all the time to see what's required. Like, who wants my business this week, this month, this year? Who's looking for it? Who I haven't even considered would be looking for it.
That's
Um,
great. That's great. Will you say that again, please?
yes, who's looking for your business, my business that I've never even considered would be looking for my business,
And
looking
when
for
you
what
ask
I
that
offer.
question, when you ask that question, who comes up to you? Just I'm saying that to anyone listening. Who comes up to you? Who's going to give you a call when you're willing to ask that question? Who is it? That's been showing up for me a lot in these last days, people, you know, showing up. So that's a great question. Thank you so much for that. Who is interested in your business that perhaps you have never even thought about?
Yeah.
Awesome question.
And then you have to be open to hear those whispers to, like you're saying, people walk up to you. Like, how is that for you? When you like, do you get pulled? Do you just go into a room or answer a phone call you wouldn't usually answer? You'd usually let it go to voice message and you choose, oh, I'm going to answer this one. Um,
Absolutely. And well, when you're meeting, there's lots of meetups going on here in Rome also. And so these meetups with people, and when people say, "What do you do?"
hmm,
Right? What is it that they can hear and that perhaps they're actually looking for, you know, at the moment? And they say, "Oh, great, I would love to invite you to
yeah.
something."
The ease that it shows up when you're willing to be the question is so surprising. I remember years ago, was having a tight moment with my business. Kids were little, and I just was like, okay, who's got money in Marin, which is Marin County where I live? Who's got money in Marin that wants what I do? And kind of the same question, a little different, but that wants, I had no idea. I just threw that question out to the universe, more like a demand. And I got this phone call from this rehab facility who needed a physical therapist that I didn't, that was kind of it's a rehab facility where it's kind of secretive. Like people fly in, no one wants people to know that they're there. So I didn't even know it existed very close to where I live, within 10 minutes. And they needed a physical therapist to come in for consultations with patients. And they said two people recommended me, Cass. And I still to this day do not know who those people were. So the universe did its magic and got them to call me. And I started that Friday. I started at the end of the week, was my first client there. So if you're willing to listen, to hear the whispers, to answer the phone call, to go to the meetup, what can you create that's outside of your possibilities, that's beyond what you think you should be doing with business and how you should be doing business? That's what business done different is, it to get out of those boxes that we hear about how business should be created and be willing to do it differently to create something greater or more fun.
Absolutely. And even if, the initial invitation sometimes is something that you haven't, quote unquote, considered your way of making money or, doing business. Perhaps it's a speaking engagement, but whatever it is, right? Even if it's a free speaking engagement,
Yes.
whatever it is, when you go there, what is the way that you can be the invitation for people to continue in engaging with you,
Right.
right? Or at least knowing how to find you, how to look at what you're doing, how to hear it, you know?
Yeah. And then it's so not linear when you meet people like that. You go to a book release or something. You have so many books that you have, and not a lot of people show up, and you're like, what am I doing this for? What am I going to this thing? I'd rather stay home and have a glass of wine and a beautiful dinner with my husband. And you show up and you meet someone who knows somebody who knows something that then creates a future possibility that you wouldn't have had if you didn't show up. And the show up is the pull. Like it's like oh yeah, yeah, I gotta go to if I go to this, it's gonna create more for my future. Okay, I'm gonna go have fun.
Absolutely. And then the follow-up with that person.
Say more about that, the follow-up.
The follow-up. Well, someone says, "Oh, exactly what you said. Oh, that's great. We do these events once a year, and we'll be doing one next year. And I think you should really come and do a presentation at that event. And I will connect with this person and let them know." A follow-up, or do you remember a year later? Oh, wow. You know what I mean? So
I may
really
or
just
may not remember a year later, but yes.
exactly. Did taking notes, like what is it that I have actually accomplished today, created today, activated today, and so having a list of that and then going back and having a look at it perhaps, right?
Yeah, and you can look at it from an energetic way too, just like look down the list and say, okay, who pops? Who do I need to contact or make a connection with or email or just text or just think about, just put out some energy like, hey, I'm still on the planet. Hi, energetically. It may not even be a contact that's, the normal way. It may be something that you just pull energy from the person till and you ping in their universe and then the next day they call you.
Exactly. And that what Glenna says in those, business done different classes as well, may seem like it has nothing to do with you specifically, but it always does because the connection that you have and what you say is based on your awareness of who is actually present there with you. Like you just said to me, which reminded me I need to really contact this person. Yeah, absolutely. And so this business done different. What are the ways that what is the normal way? What's the opposite of business done different? The business done in the same way all the time, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, but doing it from a formula or a linear way that's not looking at what's pulling you, what actually is going to create, just doing, working hard and doing would be a very different way, or it would be a more normal way than doing business done different. It would be having that email list and saying, oh, I have to send out an email every 2 weeks to my list. Yeah, I know. And and there's no question in it. If I send out an email, what's it going to create? Or if I send it out tomorrow, the next day, or if I don't send one this month, does that create more? Sometimes if they don't hear from you every single month, every single week, you're more intriguing when that email shows up and you get more opens. So it's to ask questions all the time would be how it's different versus the normal way, which would be some formula that your marketing team tells you you have to do because that's the way people do business. You need to
Right,
have, I mean, just working with someone right now is like I have to have a logo. And I kind of have a logo for energetic manual therapy. And then when someone said you have to have a logo, I went into, but what if I want to change it? What if I don't like that? What if in a week it wants to be some different color or things like that? Because you have to have a logo in business and they do create. So then I was like, okay, I've got some stuff here. What is that mine? Is that my point of view? Does the business want this logo right now? Yes or no? What creates more for the future, this logo, or does it want to be something else? Does it want to change every month? A whole bunch of different questions versus the linear way of you have to have a logo and you have to have this to do business in this reality. I mean, logos are great. Coca-Cola, Nike, they totally create.
right,
But to ask questions about what your business wants to create.
right. Or it could just be a DGR logo, Dr. Glenna Rice. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think what I got is it's gonna be a couple ones. Like the awareness was that it's gonna be for the different businesses I have will have different things, and maybe one exactly. But it's the possibilities of it, not the answer.
Right, right. And so there's just a question. So if perhaps those possibilities and energetically, if you're not, one is not working in that way and engaging in that way, um, keeping it in mind, quote unquote, or keeping it in your awareness, if you begin with a structure, perhaps every 10 seconds or something like that, you see what the walk forward with that structure, what doors it opens up. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the to-do list is like, something that we usually say, don't do a to-do list. But if there is a to-do list, or if, well, what are the things that I can create now? And so you start that movement, and maybe something or some people show up for you. And it's business done different, doing business in a different way, starting it and seeing what shows up. And then when it's, oh, exploring that. And then when things start slowing down again, okay, let me retake that list or something like that. What do you get?
I think the fluidity is what you're speaking to of how you can do business. Like there's no answers, it's not set in stone, and always looking at what's working and what's not working and what you can change. It's what you can change, what can you add to your business, what can you lose? Like being willing to lose the entire business is being willing to have change in the business. I'm not saying you would, but it could. The willing to lose it means you're not holding on to anything that's not working for you with the business, and you can change anything with the business. And I think that was what this fluidity of change that's possible with this structure, or this, like, there is this entity that is your business, and what is it creating on the planet? What is it contributing to you, your family, your life, your revenue streams, all of those things, to have that in place? And then where can it go and how can it expand? It's really like, how can it get better than this every day with your business?
How does it get? How does it get? How does it get any better than this? How does it
How
get? How does it get? How does it
does
get
it
any
get
better
any
than
better
this?
than
How
this?
does it get? How does it get any better than this? Any better than this? Yeah, absolutely. And what's great. I mean, this that they're we're going to be doing engaging on a 3-day call online. And if anyone's in California, they can do live. This business done different in this month of March. And what really the structure, right, of the business done different. It does not have to be something that doesn't include the people who are there, because there's a huge manual,
There
a
is so
huge
much
manual.
information.
It would
Yeah.
take you about, yeah, a month to do that manual, right?
Yeah, there's so
So,
much in there. Yep.
yeah. And what the various aspects that are in there, after the first day, like having a look, you can always ask questions, right? About something in there that pings you. And so how does that show up? I know you've done several of these business done different classes live and online. And so what is the quote unquote structure of this?
Oh, what does the class look like?
Mm,
It's, the participants really create the class so much because it's their questions that show us where the class wants to go. It's really
yes.
asking, people have real specific questions about their business, global ones about how they create, or their life's not working for them. How can I change everything or anything to have something greater? And, looking at the energetic components, like what energetically can they change, and specifics too about how, like, willing to lose everything. What does money mean to you? If you have points of view about money and you have a business that's creating revenue streams to support your life and your living and your family and your house, um, and you have weird points of views about money that you are getting in the way, the business has a hard time getting you that money. So we can change specifics about, just money flows, people, how you do business with people, what are the kinds of people you want on your team to hire, how do you hire people, how do you do deal and delivers. There's so much in there that just will create ease with looking at your business. I remember, and you would have been in this many of these classes with me, Cass, because you've been doing the Access Consciousness work for many years, like I have. But Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, would have these conversations in many of the classes, and then they've combined, or they've taken the best of the best and put it into this 3-day class. So you don't have to take 10 years of classes like we did, or 15 years to get the bits and pieces. It's all right there, the things that really can create a greater business for you. And what do you want to create? For me, the Business Done Different class has been like the best create class for me, to really to see how I create differently and to expand that, not to make that wrong. Like I don't create like you don't create like me, and we both create a lot. And to start really acknowledging what you offer as a greatness for this planet, for the business, for what you want to gift to the world and receive from the world, and how that's unique to you, which isn't a formula.
Exactly. And also recognizing that, you know, before you're leaving the planet so that you can actually continually be that contribution to yourself and to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, what would
Be,
you like to change? What would you like to
be
see on the planet? What would you like to, yeah, create? I mean, the questions can be that big. Maybe you only have like a basket weaving business. I don't know anyone that does basket weaving businesses. Um, they're probably pretty cool.
up until now, maybe those are the ones who'll be calling you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How
I
can I
mean, I
do
love
this
that.
basket weaving business in a different way?
Right. Or it could be a Fortune 500 company. But the questions contribute to everyone, because every business started somewhere. And what do successful businesses, what we decided a successful business is, or what we look at as successful, what do they create that works, that may contribute to what you're creating, and what do they do that would never work for you? And if you tried to go in that direction, it would just, your business would just be going, what? I don't like to do business that way. Or you would be.
Right.
So, yeah, basket weaving. I love good. I mean, I just got the best basket from Ecuador. Um, maybe that's why I'm thinking about it, because I looked at how they wove it from reeds, and I was just like, oh my God, someone did this by hand.
And it's so great. I mean, we both travel sometimes together.
Yes, it's been a while. We must create
Yes,
something soon.
yes. And however, really getting information about business and different approaches to business from people who have traveled around the world and see how much the world is um, somewhat different, but so much the same,
Yeah.
gives you an approach no matter where, whatever country you're living in, no matter what language you speak, no matter what business you're doing, that you can actually connect with yourself in a very different way, looking at how to do business in a different way. It's really quite great. And having so many different businesses, you have many different businesses that you do in addition to being an amazing mom.
My kids are all kind of grown. They're out of the house. I don't mom as much as I used to. That business has gotten smaller. Or it requires less of me being engaged with it all the time.
Right. But you have been in different, you know, ways
Oh yeah.
also. Yeah. And also, you know, if a lot of times people's businesses, their families also, you know, and their house rentals, you know, or purchasing of homes and, you know, doing private sessions and, you know,
Mhm.
doing an amazing class, whether it be, you know, a 1 day class, an exchange class, or the EMT, energetic manual therapy, or, you know, alone or with others. And, you know, the business done different, just having, and I think that would be a great opening for that class. So 1 day, the first day, just sharing different ways, right, that we can approach. businesses, alone, part-time, full-time, being an assistant, being a leader. How
Yeah.
many different ways do we have,
And
really?
how many times do people not consider that a lot of those businesses a business? I mean, if you're, your life is your business. If you're running a household, um, and maybe not going to a 9 to 5 job, you're still in
Working
business.
9 to 5. Okay.
Mhm. Just trying
What a
to.
way to make a living. Go ahead.
Um, I mean, I had to recognize that for myself. Had a physical therapy practice, and I
Oh,
didn't think much of business. I didn't even think I was in business. I had a practice. It wasn't a business. But I'd been a self-employed, schedule seat on my taxes. Americans would know what that was. Um, for 20 years
wow.
before I really went, oh my God. I mean, it's 15 years. This is actually a business. It was in some workshop class with Gary Douglas or Simone Milasas, the founder of Joy Business. And it was like, oh my God, I have been in business since my son was born when I went into private practice. And recognizing it expanded it. So much of acknowledging where we're doing business and how and what is working for us will contribute to creating a greater business. And if you're always in that question, what would it take for my life to be greater than I can imagine? Like that's kind of this blanket that's out there all the time that you're always looking for greater. That's what's going to show up when you start acknowledging how you are creating and what you are creating and what's working and what's not. It's really getting clear on what you know, empowering you to know what you know about your businesses and where to create something greater, where to put your energies every 10 seconds.
10 seconds to live, what do you choose? 10 seconds to
Mhm.
live, how could you live your life and without losing it? Anyway, this just on from the 22nd to the 24th of March of this month, we have the plan for the business done different times. It's if you're in California, it's 8 a.m. starting to 1 p.m. If you are in Europe, Central Europe, it's 4 p.m. To 9 p.m. If you're in Turkey, it's 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And yeah, if you're in India, it's 8:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. And I will be in India, so I'll be
You
there
will
in there.
be.
Yeah, at that
It'll
time.
be
But
nighttime in India.
yeah,
And
it'll
it'll
be
be
great.
translated. We have Spanish and Turkish translation so far. So
Yes,
if you are interested, and we can find other possibilities for languages for sure.
absolutely. I can do French. I can do Italian.
You can do it. Yeah, you were my Italian translator years back and my bestest host as ever to this day. I still just am so grateful for what you contributed to me
Yeah,
starting out with so many things and traveling in Europe. Yeah, and creating Europe,
amazing.
darling.
Amazing, amazing. And then business has changed. So it really would be a great contribution. And there's really no big prerequisites for this, right?
Nope, nope. Just have to have a body and maybe
Yeah, a body,
a
exactly.
camera, Zoom camera, phone,
Yes.
smartphone,
And
and an
also
interest and a desire for something greater.
exactly. And it could be a very great contribution to a partner that you have that you could really be a contribution to them also with their business or anything that you don't like doing. This will give you a
Mm,
very different perspective on that. And this is the time actually of year. It's a different year. There's so much going on in the world and so many people, and we have lots of, you know, artificial intelligence going on. But
we
what
do.
is your, natural knowing, and
Not
intelligence?
It's not artificial. Like what do you know?
That's
What's
not
your
artificial.
intelligence? Yeah.
Exactly, that's not artificial.
It's
And
such a funny name. Fake,
yeah,
fake
yeah,
intelligence.
yeah.
Not what do you know? Um, yeah, and how can you use it to your advantage?
Absolutely. And and recognizing also that sometimes when your head is hurting or your stomach's hurting or something like that, it's probably an awareness that you have about artificial intelligence. And I'm just talking a little softly because otherwise Google will come on and say, I did not understand that question, even though I don't have it here. It's all around. It's all around. And how can you use that to your advantage?
Yeah. How can you
Yeah,
get all of that AI to work for you? That might be
exactly.
the effect of it. I remember
Ex-
years ago I asked someone, said they when they searched me on the website they couldn't find, on Google they couldn't find me, and I was like, how would you change that? This was way back, over 10 years ago probably. And I just went, okay, what would it take for Google to put me in the search chat or some question like that? Like just energetically asked the energy that Google was at the time to put my name up higher. And I was coming up in the top 5 or 6 spots by the next morning.
Wow. Wow. You see
Yeah,
that? So what are I mean, there's so many questions that you can ask, and you don't have to ask them all. But
yeah,
what is the one today that
right,
will actually create more activation of
right.
your business in a
Yeah.
different way?
And it
And
doesn't have to look normal when you ask the question. I mean, I didn't have to call up Google or figure out some spreadsheet or whatever you had to do back then to get I just asked energetically for the energy of Google's search engines to change, for me to change so I could be searched. I mean, how much was I blocking it and stopping it at the time? Because just from a weird point of view I had. But anyway, it changed from an energetic question. So that was using very early artificial intelligence search engines to work for me.
yes, and it's different now, and it
It
will be
is.
different in the future.
Yeah.
So are we willing to also, step up and really have a different approach to the present and to the future so
Yeah.
that we can have enjoy, you know,
Mm,
and be in joy. And business is our life. It really is. So how do you do business in a different way uh, than you thought was the right way
yeah.
or the wrong way?
Yeah. How can your businesses contribute to the creation of your fabulous life?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. I just really would love to have people know that engaging with people, I mean, we're friends. We've been in Australia and California. I think that's the opposite sides, India and New York, Italy,
Italy.
Paris,
Mm-hmm.
lots of places together. Um, you know, co-facilitating classes and inviting people in different ways. And there's a kindness that this Dr. Glenna Rice that you have. And it's not trying to be nice. Like, what's the difference between kindness and nice? It's not that, she tries to make you right or, do whatever you want. Just the really the kindness in inviting you to know who you are
Yeah. I know what
and
you
to
know.
see things from a different perspective.
I find that I enjoy that. Empowering people to know what they know. When you have clarity on what you know and what's true for you can create anything. You don't, it's really hard to stop yourself when you know it's true for you and you don't judge you. So helping people to get out of judgment, contributing to that, love it. Empowering people to know what's true for them, love it.
Amazing. How do people find you? Where do they find you besides on Google?
They could. You could just Google Glenna Rice or Dr. Glenna Rice and I pop up. drglennarice.com is probably the easiest way. And then
Awesome.
on the Access Consciousness website, it's accessconscious.com/Dr. Glenna Rice. You can get all my upcoming stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and have a lovely upcoming week.
Yes.
And yes, and in a couple of weeks, on the 22nd to the 24th, we will be online together. And
Yes.
let's see already if, because I've signed up Let's see already if you choose and sign up, who and what will show up in your life in the next
Mm-hmm.
19 days or
Ooh,
18 days or 17 days, whenever it is you get to the 22nd
that
of
feels
March.
really fun. Uh, ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What will show up? Okay. Well,
Choose
lovely.
you.
Yeah.
Choose you. Choose
Choose
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Super
you.
7 TV and Kes Thomas, and such a pleasure to be here with you, Dr.
Thank
Glenna
you.
Rice.
Thank you.
Tashikula.